Hey guys, this is Jake Wyer and Lexi Wyer with the Wyer Group, and we are coming to you today to talk about why we personally joined eXp Realty, kind of the reasons why we made our move from our business into the brokerage. And we've been meaning to make this video for a little while. A lot of people have kind of come to us individually and asked us that question specifically, and we kind of thought it would be easier just to put it in video format for everybody else to see.
Yes, definitely a long overdue video. And speaking of long and overdue, our decision to move brokerages to eXp was also long and overdue. Like many of you, it took us a very long time to feel good about leaving. Of course, you want to make sure that you're making the right decision and that you're with a brokerage that really supports your goals. And so I think probably the most important thing is to make sure that you are moving with a company that aligns with your core values, aligns with your goals, and then has the resources to get you to those goals.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people that come to us maybe aren't necessarily quite at a spot where they're ready to make a move. I mean, it's much easier usually to stay put than it is to leave, and things have to get fairly bad for most agents to make a move, I feel like.
Well, let's be honest, it's a huge pain to change also. So,
It is. I mean, let's just put that out there. It's a complete pain. So people make it seem so easy that you move brokerages. It's not a great look either, moving brokerages every 4 months. I mean, everybody takes that into consideration.
yeah, you certainly want to be sure that you're making the right choice before you go through
Y-
and do all of that.
Yeah, because I do see agents that do that. I go, whoa, what happened over there? You've only been there for 3 months. So
Yeah, I don't even know how you can have the bandwidth to move like multiple times a year.
I don't even. So in other words, this video might be coming to a lot of you at a time where you absolutely are content in your situation at your current brokerage. You're not looking at making changes. We were absolutely at times in our careers in that same exact spot. People would come to us telling us about other brokerages. We were not wanting or ready to hear that at that time. But there are also times in our career where we started kind of kicking the bushes a little bit, seeing what else was out there, what might actually support our business in a little better fashion, allow us to grow in the ways we want to. So this video is made for you. All those people that are out there kind of trying to figure out what else might be out there that might fit their current situation and their future ambitions better. So I guess we'll kind of get into it here. I think that most of the time we kind of talked about this quite a bit. We can kind of talk a little bit, probably first of all, like why we made the move originally. Our background, I guess, is we moved here from San Diego, was with much larger franchise brokerages in San Diego. And then we moved here and decided that we wanted to be a smaller independent brokerage, under 100 agents. And it was very nice. It felt like a good feeling. It felt very family. That was very important to us at the time. But what ended up evolving over the years of being at that brokerage was it kind of felt a little bit like it wasn't progressing, allowing us to grow to the size that we wanted to be. A little bit stifling, I guess. Just wasn't kind of keeping pace that we wanted to be at.
Well, and I think let's also recognize the fact that it's okay as you advance in your career and as your personal situations change. It's okay that your professional situation changes, or, maybe you have different goals than you did 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So, when we moved to Wilmington, we ended up with, like Jake said, a local company that was wonderful. But we did kind of outgrow them after a while. So,
Yeah. And I feel a lot of people will say like, "Oh my God, you've changed," like it's a bad thing. Like, God, please, I hope I'm not the same person I am today in 5 years from now, because that means I haven't grown at all. Like that we very much feel like if you're not moving forward, kind of really what are you doing with this?
yep.
So I feel like it kind of falls into like three categories a lot of times. So ours would fall into growth. That would be one of the categories that I feel like that a lot of agents, they feel like they can't grow in their business the way they want to, that their brokerage is not going to support them in the growth that they see that they want to go in. And that was definitely us. Great brokerage, nothing but good things to say. I send brokers there all the time, and I think they're a good fit for that brokerage. Love them to death, but it wasn't allowing us to grow at the pace or the capacity that we felt like we wanted to grow in.
Right. So Jake had been following somebody online that he knew back in San Diego, and for quite some time, those videos were resonating with you, I think. And actually, when we were having these conversations of making some big changes, I was pregnant with our second child, our little boy, And so sometimes it does take, a big life event to kind of make you look big picture. Okay, what are our goals? Where do we want to see ourselves in, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years?
Yeah.
So, that's
We always like to make our changes at the probably when we also have huge life changes happening, personal life changes happening. We seem like we make additional business changes on top of it and add to it usually. It's kind of how we operate. So it's an all or nothing sometimes, it seems like for us.
Yeah, but I think that's similar with everybody. When your personal situation changes significantly, it kind of forces you to take a look around and decide whether or not your current situation's working for you.
So that was like, so we'll bring that up. So I was watching a very large agent in San Diego at the time that had moved his entire private independent brokerage to eXp. So that is one thing that eXp does and does it very well is supports your brand, allows you to create your own brand. eXp is in a supportive role. So you'll see a lot of people out there with an eXp brand that says, so and so group powered by or brokered by eXp Realty. And it's kind of a secondary item for a lot of people because they want to create their own brand. And I know this is contradictory to a lot of people that are with the franchise or new to the industry because a franchise brokerage, I was with several of them, very large names. They will tell you, they will oversell the fact how important that brand name is and that franchise name and that logo is above your brand. And it is to an extent when you're a brand new agent, you definitely want to lean on either a team or you want to lean on a brand typically for a little bit. But a lot of people get stuck on that they have to stay with some huge brand.
Yeah, well, and you're gonna pay for that big brand. I mean, a lot of them, it's like 6% right off the top before you're talking your commission split, before you're talking the, office fees and everything else associated with, holding your license there.
Yeah.
They take like 5 or 6% right off the top. So,
Yeah.
EXP doesn't do that. So let's get into the first thing, I guess, would be, money. Having a new child and me taking on maternity leave, of course, that forces you to kind of take a look at your situation.
Yeah.
And, who doesn't want to make more money in this industry? So,
So, I mean, eXp, we're not going to get into a ton of numbers here. If you guys really want to talk numbers specifically and you want to talk about specifics, reach out to us. Happy to talk about that. We have spreadsheets, all that stuff that breaks it down very cleanly. In this, we're going to kind of talk just loosely. Um, eXp is an 80/20. That's how you start is an 80/20 split. And then there's a cap at $16,000. And then you go to 100% after the cap for the rest of the remainder of the year.
and what's really, really amazing, some of you have seen a lot of our videos from EXPCon and other events where we get to network and meet a lot of, well, icons in the industry.
Yeah.
It's just incredible to be in the same room as some of these people. They are legendary.
I mean, doing 500,000 deals a year, it's
Yeah,
just,
they're just amazing. And what's so great too is that they open up their playbook to us. And we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But we also, if we're going to some of the meeting certain sales goals of volume and numbers, you get to make that $16,000 back in stock,
Yep.
in company stock,
Yep.
which is really incredible.
So that brings up the money too. So there's multiple streams of revenue within eXp. One of them is stock incentives. We have personally been the beneficiary of that to a very nice degree, honestly. It's allowed us to invest in real estate. It's allowed us to pay off tax bills. It's allowed us to do a lot of stuff. It's a publicly traded stock. I mean, it's literally like money in the bank, basically.
It's been life changing. Reach out to us if you are curious about this at all or want us to go a little bit deeper. We don't have the time to really dig into it, but
Yeah.
I will say life-changing, and I didn't understand just exactly how life-changing that would be, but it adds up quickly, and you can earn stock in other ways too, and so it's just kind of in the background building for you, and then, yeah, you might want to invest in, real estate. We have several rentals we were able to invest in, that awful tax bill that seems
Which everybody,
on us
yeah,
every year. We've been able to take care of that. I mean, it's been really nice, more than I ever would have anticipated.
as our CPA says, it's a good problem to have. I'm gonna tell you a bit. So yeah, there's definitely the stock incentives with EXP, which is insane. There's also a revenue share. which is also pretty amazing. So anytime you bring someone under your downline, you get a portion of EXP's money. You don't take anything from that agent; it's from the brokerage. So that's kind of what a lot of people know EXP for, is the revenue share. That is an option. That is another line of revenue that you have, that EXP does offer, which is pretty amazing.
And in my opinion, what revenue share has created is an environment within the company that everyone is incentivized to help each other out. And the better you do, the better they'll do. And so everyone really does open up their playbook. They'll help you. There's our team specifically has hours and hours and hours of training videos, live masterminds every single week. I mean, just tons of resources available because we all do better when we help each other win. And so it's created this really unique environment that also kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I would never would have guessed that when you hear just revenue share. Oh, that company has revenue share. Okay, great. So they're trying to get as many people to sign up as fast as they can.
Which does exist in the company. That is, some people really focus in on the revenue share portion of it. By far, that is not the norm of the company, though. I would say the vast majority of the company is really in production.
Well, and here's the thing about revenue share. That's great. You can sign up as many people as you want, and that might work for you short term. But not if you can't build a sustainable team where you're adding value.
Mhm.
And so, I was very surprised that revenue share created this incredible environment.
Well, it really, like, the company in general is just what's really interesting about it is you have these huge agents that are operating in such abundance, and they're making so much money, and they have so much invested that they start pouring it out towards their downline, which is also money in their pocket. I mean, let's not scoff at that. That is money in their pocket. The better everyone does, the better they do. So it's really a rising ship is basically all it is. It's everybody's incentivized to incentivize. And I guess that's the piece of that we really were shocked by, that everybody talks about trying to help out their fellow brokerage and help out, the new agents and things like that. And I've seen that dialogue happen in different brokerages, but there's no incentive there. For like a seasoned agent with a huge team, their incentive is to get you onto their team, not necessarily to help you out.
Well,
So
that's what I mean. Like the value is
yeah,
there because people stay on these teams. And I mean, I have no intention of going anywhere.
no, no. I mean, we're in the spot right now as far as people looking around. We're not in that spot right now. Um, we get people talking to us all the time about obviously moving, but right now we're in a spot of just abundance, and we're kind of looking at we're in the spot now where we want to pour out on into people as well.
Yeah. Well, this has been such a life changing change for us in so many good ways and so many unexpected ways. I mean, it's changed our lives, so I know that it can change yours too.
So just to kind of capsulize the money piece of it, is the commission structures is very competitive. You have stock, you have revenue share. There's no franchise fees. There's yeah, I mean it's very inexpensive to operate within EXP. So
And you can be as big or small with the EXP. You kind of touched on this a little bit. You can be as big or small in EXP as you want. So you can move an entire firm over if you wanted to. And you can get rid of that um, insurance bill
yeah,
that you have. They'll take on entire groups and support you.
yeah,
And you can still operate as your own firm and still have complete control. You are still CEO of your own firm, but it's brokered by EXP. So you get rid of all of the liability headache.
yeah. And then I think that brings us to like growth, and the kind of a unique thing about EXP that people don't really talk a lot about unless they're building teams is it is a cloud-based brokerage, which means no brick and mortar, which also helps that costs stay down.
Okay, I did not love this. I'll be honest. I did not love this at first.
No, it's a little bit confusing, but it does allow you to grow outside of traditional franchise lines, and it allows you to grow outside of state lines even. There's several people that we know within the brokerage that have teams that operate in several different states, which is only possible with something like this system.
Once you get it out of your head that you need to physically drive over to your broker's office, knock on their door, sit in their office to get your question answered, walk down the hall, see them face to face. Once you get that way of thinking out of your head, and I think COVID did help that with, offices being closed, we were operating, on the phones more and kind of thinking bigger outside of the actual brick and mortar. But what difference does it make if you're on a Zoom? It's a lot easier, I'll tell you that. It's a lot easier to just hop on your computer, get on Zoom. They have eXp World.
Yeah.
Talk to whichever department you need to talk to. You can get your question or your issue resolved within 10 minutes rather than chasing down someone else in an office.
And I think we can honestly say, like, we've been on more mastermind meetings and Zoom meetings and even really in-person EXP events ever in our career. And this is a cloud-based brokerage, which our thoughts is we were going to miss out on that. We weren't going to have that building to go to. And
I very much thought we were gonna miss out on that, not having that personal connection and feeling like I had that personal support from our broker.
yeah,
I very much was unsure about that in the beginning, and that's a lot of the feedback I get too, of people going, "Okay, well, how is this gonna work? I don't really like the idea of logging into
you
something."
feel alone. That's the thought of it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, you
But
feel alone.
but then I look back at what we had, and it's really, if you think about a traditional real estate brokerage, the people that are there sitting by the coffee machine are the people not doing the deals. They're the people that wanna talk for an hour and a half about their dog or whatever they got going on this weekend, their grandkids. But the real producers are the ones that either don't come into that office because they have work to do because they're out making deals, or they're shutting their door because they have work to do, and they don't have an hour to talk about, the weekend plans.
Yeah.
So, like, really the culture that you're getting at these buildings is not the movers and shakers, the people that you really wanna be talking to. It's the people that don't have anything going on,
Yep.
which is crazy to think about because now you get on these Zoom calls, like, we have a weekly mastermind meeting with our upline, which is hundreds of people on this Zoom call every single Monday, and it's people doing thousands of deals, answering direct questions to each other, and it's 1 hour, it's concise, it's planned, it's recorded, it's you know
And there's different levels too, so there are masterminds for
Yeah,
every agent type, whether you are doing hundreds of deals by yourself or you have a team or you're a brand new agent, wherever you are in your career, there is masterminds for you to feel supported.
yeah. So, I mean, that would go back, so we're coming full circle about kind of our main reason. I mean, all these are reasons why anybody would look at making a change. Obviously, money is a big deal for anyone. This is a business. So everything kind of links back to it's a business, it's money. But really growth for us, I mean, I was feeling very much stagnant. And I didn't want to be the biggest agent in a little brokerage. I wanted to have something want and need something to chase in business. Otherwise, I get stagnant myself. Um, I love the sharing aspect of EXP and people opening their playbooks to you, completely opening it and just letting you basically cop and paste their success. I mean, that's ultimately what they're doing is like, here's my listing agreement, here's my everything I have, here's my marketing. Why don't you just take it in this format, pop your logo in there, your face, change a couple items, and it's yours. And that's literally what happens. I reach out to some of these agents that are doing 1,000 deals plus, and I say, "Hey, can I get your marketing piece for this? Do you have anything?" And they literally send it out that day.
So, what's amazing, like Jake said, is that you do have access to all of these movers and shakers in the industry. So, if you are looking to have a conversation at the coffee machine about everything that's going wrong and the market and how COVID shifted everything and how the lawsuit last August shifted everything and how real estate's dead, then this is not the brokerage for you because that's not who you're going to pick up on the other line. You are going to have somebody that says, "Hey, look what I'm doing. This is working for me. Here you go. Go implement it. It'll work for you too.
Yeah, it's more, what's your problem? Here's a solution.
Here's a solution."
Yeah, so you're not gonna find the person that wants to sit there and gripe about the industry,
Mhm.
because you can look around and see all these people that are doing wonderful business and growing year after year. So there's really you really can't point at something and say, "Oh my god, this isn't working," because everybody else is doing amazing.
Well, in fact, even last year, last August, when the NAR lawsuit was happening and there was all these scary headlines coming out and that's all everybody could talk about and everything online was so negative,
Yep.
we'd hop onto these masterminds and they were talking about, okay, how do we talk about these new forms? How do we better serve our clients with these new forms? How does this better our industry? We had our CEO of our company kind of paving the way for all of these other brokerages, getting in front of things, saying, "Hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're gonna get ahead of it, and this is what we're doing, and it's still business as usual over here. Couple little changes, and, we're still business
So it's proactive,
as
not
usual.
reactive like we see a lot of times in our industry, unfortunately. Um, and then I think that as far as growth is concerned, they very much are con always breaking it down and rebuilding it and adding, and at the core of it, it really is a cloud-based business, which allows you to be completely remote if you wanted to be. You can work from anywhere, but also it's a tech company at the roots of things, and so they're constantly bringing on new tech pack. You get a free tech package as an agent, which is just part of what's amazing about how inexpensive it is, that you get this amazing tech package that includes your CRM, it includes a website, it includes, like, they add stuff every single year. I mean, it's unbelievable. Sisu was just this last year, I believe. Um,
Canva.
Canva, and what's hilarious is they end up buying a lot of these tech companies and just incorporating them into eXp. So if they really like you, they're probably gonna either partner with you or buy you out and incorporate into eXp, which is kind of wild, and then they just give it to free to their agents.
And whatever your niche is as well, there's all sorts of different trainings available. They just launched sports and entertainment division. There's a luxury division. There's farm and agriculture division. I mean, whatever your niche is, you will find it. And you'll find support in that area.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I mean, whether you're lacking, whether you see in your current brokerage that you're lacking, opportunity for growth, if you're feeling like you're not supported, you feel like the culture isn't there, if you feel like they're just taking too much money at the end of the that's happened to me in my career too, where you tax time hits and you start seeing what the numbers actually are and what you're taking home. You know, there's gonna be there's usually a straw at some point that it no longer it's the straw that breaks the camel's back, basically, and it no longer fits your business model. So if you're in that spot right now and you're starting to kind of look around and kind of see what else is out there, um, EXP is definitely worth a consideration. If you are looking for like kind of more direct numbers, specifics as far as tech goes, things like that, happy to point you in those right directions. We've brought up a couple times our upline. That was probably one of our biggest, and that was that person I was following online. This is his upline. It's probably one of the largest ones in EXP, which is called Fast Forward Movement. That was probably the biggest piece of our move to EXP that was insanely positive, and it's caused us to really grow. Probably the fastest out of everything else is our upline, which is completely, we thought you just randomly picked someone and they got a little piece of money out of every transaction from EXP, which they do, but, the amount that they pour back into their downline is insane, and the amount of training and the amount of events and in-person events even. They do amazing in-person events. They'll bring in performers and rent yachts and everything else in the world. So it's in person as well. So you're creating in-person relationships. I know this is a cloud-based situation. A lot of stuff is Zoom, and so it's kind of cool to actually sit down with some of these people and break bread and actually have some actual real life non-digital conversations. So it's
It's amazing. It really is. And if you don't believe me, then reach out to us. You can join us on one of these masterminds too, and see if you like it. See if it might be a good fit. But if you are thinking about making a change today, it means that you probably should have made a change a couple years ago.
that was our story anyways, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is with our people.
Yeah.
So, well, we appreciate you guys' time. I'm not sure if you guys made it all the way to the end of this. If you actually are looking at making a change, you might have made it all the way to the end of this. But if you are looking for more specific information, if you're looking for some resources to help, bridge the gap of what EXP actually offers, reach out to myself or Lexi. We're the Wyer Group in the Wilmington, North Carolina area. You can find our information everywhere, but my email is jake@movingwilmington.com, Lexi@movingwilmington.com, and yeah, let me know what you guys need. Thanks for stopping